traders, I am wanting to do a review to show how I came about with this idea that we were going to have a nice Nasdaq bounce, and with it the ARKK ETF Top 10 Holdings would likely be the lowest hanging fruit to go after. And I want to show how I came to be nimble, if you will, and flexible in my mindset after we had a pull down into the end of March. Basically, this was a time-stamped watch list of trades that I was recommending to clients pre-market on Wednesday morning, March 31st. As you note, they are the ARKK Top 10, and for those who trade momentum stocks or high-flying growth plays, as well as big tech, they had been, in particular, flat for a few weeks, and after a big drop, 20 to 40% drop, and I thought it was time for them to bounce. April is traditionally bullish, and thought that that would be pretty much a good bet going into Wednesday morning. I had made mention to clients both in my live trading room as well in Slack channel that I thought it was time. So Wednesday and Thursday, we definitely had nice recovery in Nasdaq in ARKK names, also social media names that I was excited about, Twitter, Snap, and Pins, all of which I had highlighted as likely moves, chases, or swing trades. And it followed through Monday after Easter, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and here we are Friday afternoon. I'm just doing a little recap. Apple in particular was my top bet for a chase, that it looked very supported, and it was actually the best performing, maybe not on percentage terms, ROKU was, but on option terms, it was just fat. So here's that list that I took yesterday, just a timestamp of the ARKK Top 10. As you can see, every single one of them was green, and here was how I came to the rationalization that it would be a good bet. So posted March 31st pre-market in my client Slack channel, 9:13. We've arrived at the end of the quarter and at the end of the month. BIDU would be talking at the end of the day. And assuming all goes well, most expect a very solid April. Also, I had pointed out Spot Gamma does a lot of really great market structure analysis on option gamma flow. And that thesis supported my narrative for a bounce, which was the VIX decline to back under 20 level, and these low volatility sessions could start to pressure markets higher. Between 331 and 41 OPEX, we see about 10% of Q gamma rolling off, and that is put skewed nearly 2-to-1. Translation: as puts decay, dealers may be able to unwind short hedges, and that can lead to a drift and or a tailwind. So this was the quant, if you will, or kind of gamma positioning that I saw coming into the market to support my Nasdaq call. I also had the April seasonality as reason. I also had been going over with clients lots of support levels, both on daily and weekly time frames on the chart, technically, for solid bounces. And then in other news, Raoul Pal, who many of you may know as the founder of Real Vision, came out bullish on ARKK. And I said, that's a signal. He's got, 500,000 followers, but a much bigger audience, if you will, of institutions, as well as high net worth individuals, as well as just a lot of fans. And he basically signaled the water's calm, and ARKK, everyone into the ARKK kind of thing was my interpretation. It's a little bit of a pun, but not really. He is a signal. So he has been very bullish. Bitcoin and crypto space has exploded on his very prescient timing and lots of attention in Real Vision media. This particular signal of saying ARKK was a great idea, and he's not a day trader, but as a position trader, I thought that was a great idea for advising clients to watch and trade this theme of Nasdaq bounce supported by the ARKK Top 10 list. So that's when I grabbed that time-stamped list and started setting up trades with and for clients. And basically, in the meantime, I was still not bearish safety trades. Think value growth. Even though we have a rotation into growth and out of, so oftentimes value. I didn't think so. I thought value would stay firm. Volatility wasn't going to get in the way until next week. And I did expect weakness in oil, and I wrote that. I do expect oil to pull back, and with it a flattening of the yield curve. Guess what happened? Yields came back, and oil actually fell 15% from its high. So that worked out. ARKK Top 10 worked out. Nasdaq bounce really worked out. And so this is what I wrote that day, which was basically, oh yeah, we definitely have follow through. Big breakout in Nasdaq Qs and all things hyper growth this morning. Was it the Raoul signal or the QQQ gamma roll-off? Maybe just pure buying frenzy, forgive the spelling error. End of month post-pension rebalancing. That's market structure speak for we just had a lot of tailwinds to support a Nasdaq short covering rally and or bounce, because it's April and we usually bounce in April and all the other things I just talked about. So basically it worked. All things ARKK really, really worked. So I posted that even on my Twitter page, so I thought that would be kind of interesting. But mostly I followed up with clients. So just yesterday, in fact, this was the list that I sent out saying, well done, but it's not the only thing that we positioned for that Wednesday morning and Thursday. Markets were closed Friday, Saturday, Sunday for Easter, Passover celebrations. But here we are, 1 week has passed, and these weren't the only calls. So once momentum starts to pick up, there are other trades that are poised, and my job is to look for that, if you will, impulse higher. In other words, it's basket trading, right? I'm gonna totally focus on what's moving or what I expect to move and size that up. And we had a lot. So the Apple, beautiful, beautiful Apple trade, which I had recommended because it was just gorgeous. Again, this is the 31st. I wanted to see some follow through above this trend line. It had been basing at the 30 week. This is the 10 week. Above 126 is very bullish. You can see how we closed. It was starting to form a gorgeous scoop pattern. So this was recommended Thursday. This is what happened Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And believe it or not, this gorgeous move is big tech getting a whole bunch of attention, but it's also a bigger swing because the Bollinger Band is expanding, and here it's going right back up to potential 135.50, which is where it broke down and had a short signal and actually traded this to 120.50. So it has set up, and obviously we'll see what it does here, but I think this coming week is options expiration can be very choppy. VIX expiration on Wednesday and the monthlies for Friday, but it wouldn't surprise me if we go right back up to 135.50. So anyone who was trading options, the 130 options into today, they exploded 10, 15 times. If they were more, reasonable and had the monthly options expiring next week, they were still a very decent 5 to 7 times. So those particular plays were great, but they weren't the only ones. So Apple and the ARKK trades also had early and often, meaning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, was very interested in not just the big tech, the FANG plays, but the social media plays, Twitter, Pins, and Snap. So those had actually formed 30-minute Bollinger Bands squeezes on Tuesday morning. So I had immediately jumped on Twitter, Pins, and Snap, and before they moved, because they were just about ready to trigger a 30-minute Bollinger Band squeeze. Then I had gotten excited about PayPal and Square because they all have the same look. So let me kind of show you what that looks like. So here's Twitter. Love Twitter, by the way. This is a trend trade. This will be one that I always have. I really like it. So this is the 10 week, and it's important on a weekly for swing and trend timing, if you will. But it really, again, social media just looked like it was doing pretty well, holding above some key daily levels. And then, of course, it decided it was going to compete, with Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces, talk of potential acquisition. Anyway, it just exploded beautifully. and met my price target. So I actually had a $72 price target on this. Snap was even, I don't want to say prettier, but really nice, clean, stair-stepping higher. This was, in fact, Monday, took off on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way up. Kind of same thing, closed well above the 10-week. And then pins, these were three that I had really caught on early, had a great setup for anything above this 69 level. And sure enough, all three, you can see from the 31st all the way through, they kind of pushed pretty well. But this is the 30-minute that I'm talking about right down here, where it had this explosive move here above. So all of them have the same look. Snap also jumped above, and Twitter also jumped above. So they were nice swing or chases, depending on how, you know, folks kind of deem their time frame. For me, chases are typically a few days, swings a few weeks, and trends a few months. But that worked out really well. And the work from home plays, Peloton and Crowd, were also recommended just because they had a similar look. And let me show you. Crowd, in fact, I was asked about it. How would it do with this 182.73? And I said, looks good. It's obviously a little bit more choppier on an intraday, but you can see this trend line had a nice job of actually getting above Thursday, staying Monday. Here's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and today. So it closed above the 10-week. Still looks good. Needham came out and happened to say today that it's one of their, you know, top bets. But this type of thing, Peloton also had a look where it was going to start to move out of another one of those lovely squeezes. Pullback was a little bit more violent, but the move was still in play above this 200-week. So here's the Wednesday, 31st. That was Thursday. A little bit lower on Monday, and then boom, it shot up higher, higher, higher. So Peloton is not broken out of the daily. It still could, but it did not close above the 10-week. So nonetheless, they did perform really well, as did PayPal and Square. And then even safety plays were just still really on fire. No issues whatsoever. We had lots of safety everywhere. LMT, which is Lockheed, continues to break out of the weekly. Northrop, I mean, these are not momentum plays, but they perform beautifully as value or safety plays. So really both growth and anti-growth, momentum, anti-momentum, however you want to put it, growth and value did really well. So this is momentum. If you're looking here, it had obviously pulled back very strongly, has the same kind of look as an Apple or as a QQQ. You can see the scoop pattern for higher, scoop pattern for higher, and it was really a nice set of smooth moves. It wasn't jerky at all. And in fact, Facebook had already kind of set off the mood even before the 31st. So this had already broken out. Shallow pullback, continuation, all-time highs. Google, same thing. This is earnings, but still, this broke out on the Thursday following that 31st. This was a level I had given. I mean, just gorgeous. And Microsoft, same thing. Here it was. Boom, Thursday, April 1st, and then higher. And then, of course, you're looking for the next momentum squeeze. Apple hasn't triggered yet, but it has a similar look. And boom, it went higher. So that's a little bit of how I approach this growth value rotation in and out. I just don't care. I'm looking for a theme that gets supported. And obviously the ARK plays did indeed. And I wanted to just emphasize again that this is what I do every trading day. So I'm in my live trading room in my head, but also commentating market moving news, talking a little bit of macro, but I do a lot of that kind of in written analysis in Slack, post my highest probability trend, swing, and chase trade ideas with the setups, with the annotated charts, take custom engagement throughout the day. This is obviously my value add for clients that want to know particular chart analysis that they like and why and where and option plays as well. So my hope is that you'll kind of take a look and say, okay, I've got some interest in this live trading room, or maybe I can only, get her analysis via Slack, which I do post both market thoughts, my intermarket analysis, highest probability trade ideas, and the setups and annotated charts. This is all searchable within Slack. It's all, time stamped. I don't know what else to tell you. It's something that I think adds a lot of value to profitability. And if you're struggling in this particular market because it feels, scary, or, it too slow or too fast or whatever, this is something I really think that I can provide, is the mentorship, the actionable trade setups, the reason why it's moving, so how to position and how long it's going to position, with always an eye toward what could happen to get you out of that trade. In other words, risk, how to manage, impending risk. So these time frames that I go over, whether they be intraday, daily, or weekly, are for clients that have a different comfort level and experience in trading chase, swing, and trend timeframes. But I address all of it, and also the approach that I use, whether macro or intermarket, sentiment, fundamental. There's a lot that goes into kind of sizing up the signals and working through the noise to just kind of get the highest probability, momentum, and value trades for clients, and I invite you to be one.